In the name of Allah, the most beneficent and the most merciful. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. How are you, lovely students? I hope you are very fine and enjoying Pakistan International School Taif's virtual learning studies. This is Pakistan International School Taif's and science class, and w- we are on lecture number 11. We are doing chapter number 5, atoms, molecules, mixtures, and compounds. And today's topic is properties of metals and non-metals. Although we have studied some properties of metals and non-metals, but today we will see them in detail and their uses in our daily life. Okay, here we see some uses of common elements, and those elements, first of all, we know, as we have studied in the previous lecture, that elements are of two types: metals and non-metals. So right now we will see physical properties and uses of some metals. Physical means how they behave and how they look like. So if we see the first one, that is state. Most metals are found in a solid state. Like what type of matter state they are having? Mostly are solids in nature. But there are exceptions. If we talk about mercury, its symbol is hydrogyrum, that is Hg. It is found in liquid state. Yes, what is mercury and where it is used? Like we'll see its use in our daily life also. It is used in thermometers. Therm means temperature. Those instruments which are used to observe and see the temperature. So if we are having a fever, so we use these thermometers to check our temperature or fever. So in that, we see this mercury to measure temperature. If you see here, this is mercury. Yes, and it is, you see, it is flowing down. So it means it is liquid. And where it is used in a thermometer. Actually, it is broken thermometer and the mercury is kept out from the thermometer and it is in liquid form. So this thermometer is used to check the temperature. So if we see, there is the second one, that is hardness. Metals are so hard and they are hard solids. Where they are used to make steel. Like we are having, like in the kitchen, we use lots of steel utensils and pots, um, just to cook the food and for serving the food as well. And that is made from iron. Iron, what is that? Is Fe, ferrum, and that iron is used to make steel. The steel is then used for making rails, bridges, shapes, girders, surgical instruments, and utensils at our home. Yes, rails where the railway tracks where the trains can move, they can used for make bridges and for making ships as well, some machineries as well. Girders are the long cylindrical structures which are used to make different buildings as well as bridges. And surgical instruments. Surgical word comes from surgery, means the instruments are the things which are used for surgeries, for operations in the hospitals. So if we see this one, these are girders which are used to make long bridges, and they are made up of iron, and iron is changed into steel. Iron is changed into steel so that iron can rust very easily and it can be destructed easily, but steel cannot. Steel is long lasting and it cannot be destroyed too easily. That's why iron is changed into steel, that is called alloy formation. We will see it in a few minutes. As well as we are used this steel, we use this steel to make these surgical instruments. These are all made up of steel. Now we will see is its another property. Yes, that is luster. Luster means shine. Freshly cut metals have brilliant shine. That is called luster. All metals are having a shiny surface. So if we see there are some examples that aluminium is used for making utensils, and they are used in our home, like whitish color utensils which are used for cooking purpose. Picture frames, due to its luster, due to its shiny surface, so we make the picture frames with these type of aluminium. Especially gold, you know, gold and silver. Yes, that is they are the substances, or they are the metals which are used in jewelry due to their shine. Also, they are used to make ornaments. Ornament means jewelry. The next one is melting and boiling points. Melting and boiling points. What is melting point? The point of temperature at which any solid melts. And when it is in molten form, that it is in liquid form. And after that, when it starts to boil, the liquid starts to boil, that is called boiling point. So because metals are solids and they are hard, so they are having high melting and boiling points. It means they do not melt and do not boil so easily. They need high and high temperature to first for melting and then for boiling as well. So due to this high melting and boiling point property, iron is used. Iron, copper, and aluminium are used to make kitchen utensils. Like we can use them on the stove and we cook in them on a daily basis, but they don't melt at the time because they don't need that type of temperature on which we cook our food, but they need much higher temperature in the industries to melt them down. Due to this melting and boiling point, higher temperature is required, and after that we can change them into different shapes. So the next property is about changing of the shapes as well. Strength and malleability, because they are too strong. They are having high strength to attain the shape. So metals are used to make sheets, wires, springs due to their property of strength and malleability. Malleability means when they get hot, and at the time they get like at they glow like red spots. So then we can change their shape. They can be molded into sheets and wires and springs and different shapes we can give them. Number 6 property, very very important property of metals. So metals like copper and aluminium are used for electrical wirings. The wires which we are in our home for conducting the electricity, and they are with the electronics, they are made up of copper mostly, but aluminum is also used because they are good conductors. Conductor means they can conduct and they can transport electricity very easily among their atoms. So they have the property to allow electricity to pass through them. This property is called electrical conductivity, and they are also heat conductors. If we see here, there are some properties of metals as we have seen before. They are having luster, means they are shiny like gold and silver. Copper, look, it's also shiny. They are malleable, like we can just transform into different plates like this by beating it or by pressing it. And they are having high melting and boiling point, due to which they can be into the liquid form and into the gas form also. They can into the liquid form, and then we can change them into different shapes and forms, and we can make wires from them also. That is called, they are ductile, because ductile means they can change into the wires. They are excellent conductor of heat and electricity. That's why we use them in our home for cooking purposes, as well as they can conduct electricity. So we use the copper and aluminum wires in our wiring at home. They can form alloys. Alloys, bronze, copper, stainless steel, brass, these all are alloys. And how the alloys will form, we will see in a few minutes. Lustrous means they are shiny. Metals have luster, shiny, like gold, copper, silver, and iron. These are utensils which we use at home for its high melting, due to its high melting and boiling point. This is a very important physical property of metal, due to which they are used in different industries, so that they can be hammered into sheets without breaking. We can melt them, we can like heat them at very high temperature, and then by pressing and beating we can change into different sheets. Okay, there is the same topic is the same, but there is another term, that is alloys. Alloys actually the mixture of different metals. How? Because metals are solids, but how can we change into different they can be mixed with one another? Yes, with heat. So this is the ability to form alloys. So alloys contain more than one metals. We heat the metals, different metals, and then we mix them together, and they form another substance that is called alloys. So alloys, for example, German silver, that is an alloy of copper, zinc, and nickel. They all are melted together and mixed together, and they form a different substance that is called German silver. That is very strong enough, and it is having a good property to make the jewelry, as well as it is used in jewelry. So brass is another alloy, which is the combination of copper and zinc, which is used to make pipes, hose nozzles, and jewelry as well. You can see brass jewelry for utensils, and this is hose nozzle. Hose which is used in front of the pipe hose, water pipes, and they are used especially in the fire fighters firefighters use them in the fire trucks. These are some more examples of alloys. This is bronze, bronze made up of copper and tin, and brass. Brass is the alloy of copper and zinc as well. So these all musical instruments are made up of brass, and you might have seen some coins which are um, um, used to make with bronze, medals also. So here is a steel that is also the combination of iron and carbon. So like some utensils, keys, scissors, springs, nuts, bolts, nails, and chains, etc., they also are made with the help of steel. Bronze, that is combination of metal, copper and tin, is also a metal, so it is used to make springs, bells, locks, coins, medals, and like door holders, etc., door handles as well. And this is brass, that is also the mixture of copper and zinc, both are metals. And here some musical instruments as watches, bells, and um, like some type of like musical instruments also are also made by brass, that is an alloy. So we are having a great use of these metals, and these are hose nozzles which are used in front of the pipe, in the mouth of pipe, that is made up of brass as well. Some uses of metals are here. We can use them for making brass, which are used for making musical instruments, copper wires, utensils, steels, and brass as well. And that is food containers, aircrafts, industries, cutleries, like spoons, and knives, etc. We can have a heavy machinery and car bodies, and certain we use them in the electricity purposes as well, and as well as galvanizing purpose, that is like to protect zinc and some other material. We just having the coating of this material, coating of steel on that to protect the zinc. So there are lots of different uses and purposes of metals in our daily life. As compared to metals, non-metals are also having uh, lots of uses in our daily life. So first we'll see their properties, that they are solids, liquid, and gases as well. They are not hard, and they are having no shine, no luster, opposite to the metals. And as compared to high melting and boiling point of metals, non-metals are having low melting and boiling point. It means very less temperature is required to uh, mm, melt them. So non-metals are as bad conductors, as well as non-metals are widely used in our daily life, but graphite is very good conductor of electricity. What is graphite? We will see after some time. So if we see the uses, that air contains several gases which are non-metals. Yes, air contains, as we have seen before, oxygen, then it is having nitrogen. They are what non-metals. We are having some noble gases also, just argon and etc. They all are non-metals. So air is composed of lots of non-metal elements. Number two, that welders use flame of hydrogen and oxygen for cutting and welding purposes. um, Cutting and welding of metals. In that process, we use hydrogen gas, and like this hydrogen gas as well as oxygen gas, the flame of that for cutting and welding metals. What is this? Like like metals are so hard, so they cannot cut easily. So we use high temperature flame for that, for cutting, and welding means for joining them. So number third, hydrogen and nitrogen gases are used in manufacture of urea fertilizers. Urea fertilizers are like round structures, like grains or beaded like structure, which we used in the plants, and which in the plants fertilizer give them nutrition and they grow well. So in these we also use hydrogen and nitrogen in gases collectively. Vanaspati ghee number 4, that is manufactured by the use of hydrogen as well as vegetable oil. There is oil which we use for cooking purpose, and we pass this hydrogen gas through vegetable oil, so they make into solid ghee like structure, means solid fats. Okay, and if we see phosphorus, phosphorus is used in match industry. Match industry means by which we make matchsticks to uh, burn them. For we use them for like burning the stoves and for any burning purposes. Number 6, oxygen gas is used in hospitals. We know it very well that heart patients, lung patients, and lots of other patients which require like oxygen gas in the hospital. So we are having cylinders filled with oxygen, and they can this gas can save their life. Next one is carbon. Carbon is used in jewelry, but it is having different forms. So one form we have studied before, that is graphite, that is used in lead pencils. So that is having a gray color and is used by mixing with clay, and it is used in the lead pencils. But carbon as diamond, that is used in jewelry. So about the diamond, that it is the non-metal, but it is the hardest matter on the earth. It is having shine, and that's for that purpose we use it in the um, mm, jewelry, as well as it is used to cut glass. mm, Glass gazas, we just cut a glass with that diamond, the machine which we are having, the cutter which we are having uh, diamond on that, and then we can cut a glass easily. So if you see this welding image, that you can see the person is wearing that specific costume and specific this helmet like or glasses, goggles like structure, and that protects, because this um, protects the eyes, because this flame is having a high we can see the temperature as well as glow, and by that that is used for just welding as well as joining two metals together. If we see here that some uses of non-metals, that this is diamond, mostly used in jewelry and for cutting glass as well. That one, this red one, is a sulfur, coating of sulfur in front of that wooden stick, that is called matchstick, and we use it for the burning purposes when they rub this against the sulfur as well. And this is also the use of sulfur. So sulfur is also used in making paints, and as well as we are having another use of this graphite. This graphite is used to make these pencils, this nib inside the pencil. Outside coating is of wood, and inside that is of graphite, and it is not pure, actually it is mixed with a clay. That is having a great purpose because graphite is the good conductor of electricity, and due to that electricity, if any person or any child just enter this into the plug or switch so that it can um, like having electric shock. For the protection, it is covered by this wooden uh, material, as well as it is mixed with a clay for just decreasing its conductivity. Okay, let's take a look, a review and comparison of properties and uses of metals and non-metals. In metals, it is having luster. All metals having lusters, but non-metals don't have luster except iodine and graphite. You have seen graphite at the back, the previous slide. Hardness, they are too hard, very hard. Some are not hard except like sodium and potassium, and non-metals are not hard enough, not hard. Malleability, that is the property a substance can beaten into sheets. Metals are high malleable, some are not. Just there are a few exceptions here. And all non-metals are not malleable because they are solids, liquids and gases, and some are, a few are solids. But so here, ductility property by which a substance can be drawn into wires. So they are ductile. Non-metals are not ductile except some. So here is a carbon fiber. The property of a carbon to make into the fibers like wires like structure, and that is nowadays it is progressing, and it is used for making aircrafts, and it is used in the textiles, like for making different types of fabrics as well. Conductivity, metals are a very good conductor of heat and electricity except bismuth and tungsten. These are all metal, but they are not good conductor. They are non-metals are bad conductor, but graphite is a very, very good conductor, and gas which is made by the carbon, that is also a good conductor. All non-metals are non-conductors. If we just check its state, so they are solid and hard substances, and non-metals are solids, liquids and gases. So only bromine is liquid in the non-metals, mostly are gases and some are solids, and in metals mercury and gallium are liquids. So that's it, my lovely students, for today. And I hope now if you see around you, there are lots of different uses of metals and non-metals. And we will see you inshallah in the next lecture. For that, wish you good luck.